Hi guys, it's about 10 on the 20th of June and the sun went down about 20 minutes ago. So for me the solstice has basically begun now, and ordinarily I would actually be doing my ritual at this time because, as you know, if you've watched any of my videos on the Wheel of the Year and on the Sabbats and stuff, I tend to do my rituals for the Sabbats the night before, sort of after sundown on the eve of the actual day. But this year I'm doing something a bit different. I'm going to be getting up just before sunrise tomorrow morning, which is very early. It's 10 to 5 in the morning. I get up usually at 7:30, so it's quite a stretch for me. But that's going to just make it all the more kind of special, and I imagine the only people who are awake at that time tomorrow morning on a Saturday are going to be people who are still awake from the night before, and it's liable to be very quiet, which I'm looking forward to. So you're looking at my new altar space. I've literally just been setting this up today. I decided to, I used to have an electric piano in this part of the room, but honestly I hardly ever touch it anymore. When I moved in here first 3 years ago, I was playing the piano and writing songs quite a lot. I was just going through a phase of that. I go through phases of that kind of now and then. I have done for the past decade or so. And I was going through a strong phase of it, so I brought my electric piano with me and I used it quite a lot for the first year. But for the past year or two, I really have hardly been using it. And it sitting there in my room was really just a reminder to me, a constant reminder that I'm not playing music as much as I used to, and it kind of made me feel a bit guilty. So I've kind of come to terms with that music isn't a big thing for me right now, and I had to accept that I can't always pursue all of my creative abilities and interests because I just have very wide-ranging interests and wide-ranging passions, and they change and shift for me over time. So music is just not a focus for me right now, and I'm okay with that. And I decided that my mother would actually make better use of the electric piano in their house, in my parents' house, than I would here in my flat. So it's gone back, and this has meant that I actually have more space in the flat for more altar space. Eventually the whole entire flat, which is basically just one large room, is going to become one large sacred space. At this point it pretty much has. So this wall up there is other stuff. Some of that has been altars before and will probably be one part of it will probably be an altar again. But this is now going to be my primary sacred space. I'm really liking it because it's going to give me a bit more room than before. It's going to give me a bit more working space. At the moment it's feeling a bit cluttered, but I think what I'm going to do is that I'm actually going to change my altar up more than I used to. I think I'm just going to pick and choose things that I want to have on my altar at specific times, and the other things can kind of go underneath there when I'm not using them. So yeah, also everything has kind of come out from, because I've cleared out the writing desk that I had my main altar in before. Everything has sort of come out, and I have all my crystals. Well, not all of them, but a lot of my crystals. Well, some of them are up here on top, but all my tumble stones, you can't see them, but they're in there in a bowl. And these at the front, these are some of the rough stones. Most of these are, sorry, it's not focusing, it's not on autofocus apparently. Some of these are quite old. The only one that I've picked up recently is this beautiful fluorite, but the other three are quite old. This was given to me, somebody who just pretty much found it in her back garden in Switzerland. This my dad picked up somewhere, he's a geologist, so it's actually opal. It's really, really beautiful. And this I picked up in a shop about a decade ago. Amethyst. So yeah, I've been really enjoying taking out all the old stuff that I haven't been using, like all my crystals and stuff like that, and kind of setting up altar space. So yeah, my altar is going to be a little chaotic for tomorrow. I haven't really planned out what I'm doing for ritual tomorrow. I have a couple of different addresses that I give to various deities, concepts, nearly deities, let's call them, and I'm going to be addressing Anya again, the goddess Anya that is, with the same words that I used last year. But apart from that, I'm leaving it open to doing whatever I feel is right at the time. So yeah, I thought I'd share this with you. in the kind of chaotic state that it's in at the moment, and I'll be sharing this with you as I go forward and as I figure out how I want to work my altar space and that kind of thing. So this is what used to be my main altar space, and at the moment it is, well, what's happening down here below is a little bit, I've been making incense for it tomorrow, and I've just been trying it out. So excuse the slight mess down there. But this space has become really pared back and minimalist, and it is now an altar that is dedicated solely to the Morrigan. I will say solely to the Morrigan, but really I'm thinking of it as being an altar space dedicated to the Morrigna, which is basically the Morrigans, because if you have any information about, if you know anything about the Morrigan, if you've had any dealings with her, you'll know that she's not exactly a straightforward deity in that there's just one of her and that's that. She's kind of multifaceted, she's a shapeshifter, and I feel personally from my experience of her that she actually is sort of multi-layered. That I feel that there's a figure of the Morrigan, and then there are maybe subdivisions of the Morrigan, such as Bive and other figures like that, though it's all a bit hazy really. And then maybe above that there are the Morrigna, and into that I actually incorporate a couple of different deities and folkloric figures like the Calichan, I'm not sure. So I think that's a Scots Gaelic, or supposed to be a Scots Gaelic term rather than an Irish term. So forgive me if I'm pronouncing that right, but Collie or colleague it would be in Irish, which is okay. That's a whole rabbit hole that I'm not going to go down right now. But there are these figures. The word Cailleach has come to mean witch in Irish. In modern Irish, but it didn't in the past. It actually basically just meant woman or old woman. And there is a figure called Cailleach in Scotland, and there are various other colleague throughout Ireland and Scotland that has sort of names. So Cailleach Vera, for example, would be the Cailleach of Beara, which is in West Cork. So all of these figures are they are distinct, but they seem to me to overlap quite a lot. Everyone will agree, particularly between like Ireland and Scotland, that they agree quite a lot. Sorry, I've lost my train of thought there. That they overlap quite a lot. That a lot of their stories are similar. Some of the stories seem to be the same. Whether or not it's the same figure, who knows? But I feel that there is, although these figures are separate and unique, I feel that there is this overriding sort of conglomerate of Collie. I kind of subsume them into the Morrigna. So that's what's going on for me there. Oh, and Baba Yaga. So I will be adding to this as time goes on, and the lower part actually I might, if I add anything to it, I might keep it quite private from now on actually, because I can do that, because I can close it up, and if there's anything in particular relating to my work with the Morrigan that I want to keep private, I can keep it in there. And this is the incense that I've been working on for tomorrow for the summer solstice. It's just after 5 in the morning and the sun has just risen, but of course it hasn't cleared the trees and the houses yet. You really can't see anything really here on the camera. It's all too bright actually to see much. I'm sitting on the exact opposite side of the park to where I was sitting at the winter solstice, because of course the sun is rising much further north this morning. I've darkened the exposure, but You still can't really see anything, but there's an amazing golden glow on the horizon. I think I'm going to head back now soon because I've no idea how long it'll take for the sun to actually rise above that sort of cluster of houses over there. But it should be starting to come into my apartment relatively soon. But it's lovely sitting here and listening to the birds, which is what I've been doing for the past 10 minutes or so. It's 6:45 and I've just finished doing my ritual. Unfortunately, it got cloudy before the sun really came in properly into the room, but I did catch the first rays of it on the wall, which was the important thing for me, so that was lovely. It would have been extremely bright in here, which would have been a bit strange for doing ritual, I think, but it would have been nice if the sun would have deigned to enter today, but you know, it's Ireland, so the fact that we had a clear sky at dawn was in itself a bit of a miracle. I've extinguished the candles now, so it's not as interesting to look at. I've changed things around a tiny bit since last night, or I did so last night before I kind of started the ritual this morning. I'm not going to show you the lower part actually because I've been doing I did a working during ritual, sort of inner work manifestation kind of stuff, and I don't feel like sharing that. I don't feel like showing it on camera. But yeah, it was again a really interesting ritual. Because I'm only sort of on my, well, I'm nearly twice the way through the Wheel of the Year consecutively. Like I've been pagan, or considering myself pagan, and following the Wheel of the Year on and off for about 11 years, I think. But there was a big chunk of time in the middle when I really didn't celebrate it at all, when I considered myself to be an atheist and was completely a-religious and a-spiritual. So this is only my second time through the wheel, and the first time around was all very kind of quite rigid. You know, I was sticking to a particular ritual structure. I was learning the ropes, I suppose you could say, for myself, and you know, feeling out what worked for me and what I wanted to do with ritual and everything. So it's only on the second time around now that I feel like I've finally got the freedom to just not have to plan everything out and sit down and do what I feel like in the moment. So I still have set words, words of sort of poetry and dedication that I've written or compiled over time, and they have become words of power for me now. They do change, they still are changing all the time, but parts of them will probably never change and have become very meaningful for me. But then when it comes to the main part of the ritual, I'm getting a lot more fluid with just allowing myself to do what feels right in the moment. And once I move on to the astral plane, I will often sort of receive guidance or just get a feel for what it is that I want to do, what kind of inner work it is that I want to do. So I'm liking how that works now. It's unpredictable and it means that every ritual has a different feel to it, and I will leave chunks out, I will add chunks in. It's all becoming more organic and a lot more meaningful, I suppose. It's starting to sit right, I feel. I'm focusing better, and yeah, I'm not having those moments of, oh, what am I doing? I feel a bit silly anymore, you know? It all just kind of flows smoothly. So yeah, I was going to go back to bed after ritual, but I actually don't really think, oh, I think the sun might actually come in after all. I'll show you that if it does happen. Oh, it is, it's coming in. Hang on. You can see just on the wall there that the sun is just starting to peek in, so I might end up with a sunlit room after all. That would be lovely. Yeah, I was thinking of going back to bed after ritual, but I don't really feel like I need to. I do have a driving lesson later, so I need to be awake for that. So if I feel the need for a nap before that, I will do so. But I might not have to take a nap until the afternoon. I probably will have to take a nap because I'm going to stay up till midnight and go up on a hill near my parents' house and see the light on the horizon at midnight, because the light doesn't... We kind of lose light completely. Even on the horizon though. Yeah, on the northern horizon I would say that in midsummer you can probably see a tiny bit of light the whole way through the night. Certainly in Donegal and the northern point of Ireland, it never really gets completely dark at midsummer. But in Dublin, I'm pretty sure that right the way through the night there is light on the horizon, and it's nice to go up at midnight and see that, because by even 2:30 in the morning now, last night and tonight, it'll be getting bright. Like, it's pretty extreme, and I really love that. I really love that about living here. So yeah, I might need a nap to get me through the whole day. But yeah, I'm really glad that I did this. It was really different. Doing ritual at... Sorry, I'm getting distracted by weird noises. Yeah, it was really different doing ritual at dawn rather than at dusk. And yeah, really, it's really different for me to get up that early. Anything before 7 o'clock is kind of unheard of for me. The only times that I would have seen 4:45 a.m. ever before would have been when I hadn't gone to bed yet. And indeed, there was actually somebody coming in I could hear from a night out just after I came in from watching the sunrise. So yeah, I think that's enough rambling. I'm going to go out to my parents' house later because my boyfriend is not currently in the county. It's a long story, but he's not around today, and I just feel like spending a bit of time with them. I might meet up with a friend at some point in the afternoon, and there's also just a lot of places to go for walks. I can go for a walk by the sea maybe in the afternoon from my parents' house. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And then at sunset, just before 10 o'clock tonight, I'm just going to light a few candles in my altar space in my parents' house, and just sort of do a bit of meditation and wrap up the day pretty much. So yeah, I think I'm not sure if I'm going to bring I suppose I might bring my camera, so I might talk to you a bit again later, but that might be it from me for this Sabbath. I hope you're all having a wonderful day. I'm finding that the solstices are really powerful for me, and I had it in my head that the winter solstice was like my favourite of the 8 spokes of the wheel on the wheel of the year. Sorry, my linguistic brain isn't quite switched on yet. But I think the summer solstice is just as powerful for me, actually. And I actually have a feeling that the longer I keep doing this, the more rounds around the wheel of the year that I do, the more each one of them will become more powerful for me. But I think the winter solstice and the summer solstice are going to be the apex of it for me. Strangely, the equinoxes are some of my least potent times of the year, or not times of the year, they're actually potent times of the year for me, but ritually they just don't feel as meaningful. But the solstices, yeah, there's something special about them. So yeah, I hope you're having a wonderful, whatever it is that you're celebrating today, whether you're calling it midsummer or the summer solstice or Litha, or whether you're in the southern hemisphere and you're celebrating Yule or midwinter or the winter solstice. I hope you're having an absolutely wonderful day. Oh yeah, one more thing I want to say before I go, and I did write a blog post about the summer solstice, which I will link below. But I know that for a lot of people we kind of focus on the joy and the light of the summer solstice, and that is my major focus area. But I did want to mention that I also do acknowledge that this kind of seed of darkness is sown at the summer solstice, in the same way that at the winter solstice the seed of light is sown. Every day now from today on, every day will be getting shorter and shorter, and the nights will be getting longer again. So this is a sort of tipping point, and I definitely acknowledge that. I've always acknowledged that in my ritual, but I'm interested to hear how many of you do. This was brought to my attention by John Halstead, his wonderful blog called The Allergic Pagan. I'll link his blog post below as well, because he was talking about this and saying that he was really surprised by how many neo-pagans tend to focus on the light again at the summer solstice, which to him makes no sense when they've concentrated on the light at the winter solstice as well. But I would say that I do actually mostly focus on the dark at the winter solstice, and there's that seed of light, and then vice versa at the summer solstice, and that has always come organically to me. That makes sense to me. So yeah, I'm wondering about you guys. What do you focus on for the summer solstice? And I know that for many of you it's not midsummer, it's for some of you it's the beginning of the summer and stuff like that. And if you're in the southern hemisphere, let me know what it feels like to be celebrating Yule. I had an interesting conversation with Ruth of I think her channel's called The Song of Ruth or something like that now, which actually I've been meaning to share her channel because she makes some really interesting videos. She's a very, very interesting person altogether. I really enjoy having conversations with her and talking to her about her path and everything. She's a really wonderful lady. But she was kind of talking about how Christmas and Yule are two different things for her, which is really interesting. I had never really thought about it but that before. And also Samhain and Halloween at two different times of the year is fascinating because she's in the southern hemisphere. I didn't actually say that. Which is, yeah, I find that really interesting. I quite like that. I quite like the idea of the two things being separated. And with Christmas at Litha, interesting. So yeah, let me know what the summer solstice is for you, or the winter solstice, like I said. Yeah, I think I'm going to stop rambling now because I think I'm less coherent than usual, perhaps. And I'll talk to you guys soon. Have a wonderful day. The sun is setting in about 5 minutes. I can see a sort of red glow just through the trees straight ahead, but I don't know if that's going to come out on the camera at all. It's blocked by the trees. No, you probably can't see that. But if you do catch a red glow, that is the sun. Just hovering above the horizon. I might try and find a spot in the garden where I can see it a little bit better. So it's the end of the day of the solstice. Yeah, I don't have much more to add. It's been a wonderful day. I hope you've all had a great time where you are. And it probably hasn't ended for most of you by now. Much love, guys. I hope you've all had such a wonderful day as I have today. It's been a really, really special midsummer for me this year.